How are you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm good. How are you, ma'am?
Perfect. So, any idea, Divya, who all are joining? Ranjani said she'll be in 10 minutes.
Yes,
What about
ma'am.
Muskan? Rakhi?
Muskan said, okay, it means she'll be joining, I think within 2-3 minutes.
Okay. All right. So, any problems so far? Any other doubts in communication skills?
No, ma'am.
Jyoti ma'am? So, we
It
were
was a good
basically discussing
exercise,
this,
ma'am,
right? The
in
other
last
day.
class.
Yeah, you could not join the entire thing, no?
Yes, ma'am, I could not. But I saw the video and it was really very good.
We'll do that exercise again. Yeah, we
Okay,
will
ma'am.
do that maybe next week when everybody will be available.
Sure, ma'am.
All right, so we were discussing non-verbal communication last time, and we
Yes,
were
yes.
talking about communication in details about it. Right, so in non-verbal communication, we talked about so many things about personal appearances, vocal licks. Yes, Jyotina. You want to say something? Okay, so please kindly keep yourself on mute, yeah, so that you know. I thought you wanted to say something. Right, so now it's very important for every one of us to know that how are we actually going to utilize our own personal effective communication styles or skills in making coaching as a very good experience for people who would be coming to us, right? Whether it is life coaching in general or we are including yoga and meditation and relaxation techniques into the entire package, but it's very important that there are so many other things which need to be kept in mind. For example, we were talking about how body language plays a very important role. So this is a scientific research that's been done. I think it's been going on in communication since a very long time. People have been sharing these percentages or this pie chart basically, talking about the effect of nonverbal communication or the effect of body language, the voice tone modulation, the way we move our body, we move our hands, we move our arms while we are talking to somebody. How much impact does it make on people, right? So this is the entire pie chart which we generally use in business communication as well or in other trainings on communication skills. This pie chart, as you can clearly see, shows that 55% of communication or good communication actually happens with proper body movements, with face and arms, right? Then 38% of your communication happens with voice tone, modulation, pauses that we take, what kind of speech we are actually using, what is the kind of pitch that we are using, what is the, whether it is high volume or low volume, politeness के साथ है, compassion है, kindness है. So all these things can easily be generated or can easily be communicated through non-verbal communication, right? Like you can see the yellow one is very small, only the 7% things is basically words, right? So that's what the body language plays. Now there are very important things which generally we keep talking about. In general also, I have been highlighting this in last week also, that our postures create a very good impression when we are talking and dealing with somebody, especially during coaching. How we are attentive or how much we are attentive can easily be shown from our postures, right? So you can see poor posture, good posture, and again poor posture, right? Self-descriptive kind of a thing, right? Anything else that comes to your mind where you can actually talk about what kind of poor postures or bad postures can actually create a bad impression on somebody while communicating?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. So we are continuing the chapter that we were discussing last Sunday. non-verbal communication. So we are going into the little details about what exactly the body language we should be using while we are coaching people, or as a coach, what are the things that we need to be taking care of. So we are talking about poor posture. So like you can see in this particular slide in this PPT, it talks about how our body can actually look very bad when we are in a wrong posture. So is there any other way, or there is any peculiar habit that you have seen in people, or maybe it's in you, that you want to really get rid of? Any other examples of poor postures if you have?
I mean, even classes also, if you are teaching somebody, we can identify whether the students are observant or not, if they are paying attention or not through their body language. So
Very true.
their body language speaks a lot.
Very true. Yeah. Any other examples? Anyone?
And this
Ma'am,
happens with the kids
and
also.
when people, they were talking to other people, sorry,
Yeah, carry on. Who is speaking?
ma'am, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, when people wearing, ladies wearing sari also, whenever they are talking to someone else they'll just adjust their, what is their sari structure, something like that. So there is also a bad,
Hmm.
uh,
Right.
question, ma'am, sorry.
So see, all those things are, we are talking about body language,
Adjusting their,
Here we
yes, that's
particularly
what I
talking
was.
about certain postures that people, have. So sitting slouchly, I can't show you here on the camera, maybe not really clearly visible. When people
Okay.
sit on a chair where their tummy is out and, they are really looking very awkward, right? So that is one of the postures that we normally see in people when we are dealing with them. So it is really important for us to avoid all these things. One, especially being a yoga teachers, or calling yourself a yogi or yogini, it's very important that our spine is always erect, right? Our body has to go into that kind of a transformation. The entire change has to show very physically, very visibly to the people who are coming and asking us for the things, right? Any point in time when you're slouching, or your shoulders are, stooping ahead, or there is something which is incorrect about your posture, would be easily noticeable. And there are chances that people might create a very negative impact about you, that what you are speaking or what you're coaching about is not actually being practically used, right? That's why it is so important. Then after postures, there are facial expressions. Right, so our facial expressions actually can talk so much without even we speaking any words, right? Especially when you are a teacher, or when you are actually teaching or taking up a class, people, showing that they are feeling bored. Very easy to show. They'll start either yawning, or their eyes are not really properly open. So various kind of signals they can send that the class is really going boring. We have to change something about it, right? So that's very visible thing. So all these four things that you can see is very clearly visible, right? Happiness, you can easily show sadness, fear, anger. There are so many other emotions, right? Specifically, with the invention of emoticons, it's really easy for people to actually show different kind of varied kind of emotions also, and we can get to know the names of the various emotions that people show, right? So it's very important when you're, especially as a coach, when we are talking and dealing with somebody, it's very important that you keep your face very balanced. Balanced in the sense that even if you are feeling you are getting too much involved into the entire process of listening to somebody's problem and getting involved into that emotional process, you have to keep that very balanced. And that will only come with the process of getting involved into various coaching, getting involved with the various people, when you are actually going to do practically dealing with these kind of people, right? That's when it is going to come naturally. Other than that, you can practice the art of detachment. Right? Practicing the art of detachment is very crucial for every coach or mentor or trainers. When we actually take these sessions, it gets really difficult for somebody who comes and start crying, or showing different kind of emotions to you. So it gets very difficult at that point in time to really control your own emotions and not show is that, right? So that's very important, that when you are actually dealing with people, You need to keep your emotions balanced. You have to practice the art of detachment. Detachment in the sense that you are involved in the entire process, but you are not detached with the person who is taking care of that, right? Now, key to effective communication. How can you make your communication as a coach really, really very important? Other than non-verbal and verbal things that we have to speak and talk and do that. Well, number one is content. So, why do you think the content is really important?
Content is going to decide what is to be communicated, what is your target audience to whom you are communicate. According to that, the content is going to be decided. So that is the base of the communication. That's why it's very important.
Right.
The knowledge is important, ma'am. The content, whatever the subject we are going to talk, we need to have a clear understanding of the subject so that it will be reflecting in our talking or giving us something.
Mm-hmm.
It is important so that we don't. Okay, I'm sorry.
Muskan, you go.
It is important so we don't lose our track. Whatever we are trying to speak, we stay on our track and we, able to deliver our thoughts properly.
How will you ensure that whatever is in your mind or you stay on track? What are the things that you can do for that?
Think about it
We
properly
should
first.
have the concentration that we are not deviating from our topic, ma'am.
Yeah, so
Ma'am,
you are thinking about it, you are
Before
concentrating about it. What else you are doing?
that should be designed properly in a proper
planning,
sequence.
Perfect.
Content.
So Divya said very nice that your content should be designed in a manner, right? You have, see, because you have already given a thought process to it. When you're dealing with people, you're not going to think about it at that point in time, right? Because most of the time when we are doing good communication, our content is ready in our mind. Correct? That's what we practice in the role play thing that we did, right? You're listening to the entire conversation of somebody. While listening, you're creating your notes. So that means your thought process has already started. What you want to speak with the notes that you're taking. Now you will take some pauses in between. You will hold on to with your communication that what you want to really suggest or you want to concentrate is then you're designing the entire process. You're designing what you want to convey to the person. What are the things that you are readily available in your mind at this point in time after the notes have been taken, and then you start speaking about that. Right? That is the reason why I keep saying this thing that in the first coaching session, in the very first class or in the very first session, don't go into too details about the entire process. Right? Don't try and convey everything that you know. Take time to hold on to the thoughts, take time to at least digest. That's very important that somebody has spoken so much about their lifestyle, their emotional, their spiritual or their social status, and then you have to take some time to digest a lot of things. Right. I'll give you an example about it. Being in HR industry for so long, still a very different kind of thing came in front of us. And all my interns, all the people who were working with us really got very shocked that these are the things also which happen in the industry. We lined up one interview of a candidate with a client. And what happens was, first day this girl said that there is some problem I am facing in my camera, so I'm not really available to join the call right now. So client said it's fine, we will do it next day. So the call got postponed to the next day. Next day, this girl comes and she gives the interview very confidently. Somehow the client started feeling that she is not the same person he had spoken to on the call. Person on the call and person on the video are two different people. And when we asked that girl कि आप please share कर दो photographs, the latest photographs, so that we can match that this person in the video, she denied. She said I don't have any latest photo of mine. I just have 2014 ka photo. So which in social media days is not possible, right? So just to clear an interview, I don't know whose help she has taken, right? Who was that person? And this kind of incident, really shook us all up. The client was Flipkart, a very big organization. All of us were really, really shocked that why such things can happen in such manner. So, right, different kind of things will come to you at various point in time. So we need to be prepared that these kind of shocks can come. Now, as a company owner, now if I really show these kind of feelings to the client, that this is something which has come to me for the very first time, I didn't show that. I didn't show my panic. I didn't show that really I'm feeling. I just apologize that these things can happen. We cannot be sure about all the candidates that we are lining up because obviously we are not video calling in the first round. Right? So it's your responsibility. So this is the experience that I wanted to share, is because different kind of people will come to you for the first time. Second, you are just going to take the note of everything, whatever they are going to speak about, whether they're emotional things or whether they're family things or whether they're social things. And then you will concentrate on all those things while talking to that person. Your thought process will automatically start working because this knowledge, this content that we are talking about is already there in your subconscious mind. You are aware about what kind of yoga asanas I have. So suppose somebody comes and tells you a problem, that I am facing a problem in my foot. Right? I am not able to walk properly because there is a certain point of pain which I feel in my toes. Right? So suddenly and automatically some of the asanas will come to your mind that maybe for food these are the kind of things that we can suggest. Right? So your mind automatically start getting into the content mode. Then you will take some time for as a pause with your client, offer him or her a glass of water, coffee, so that they can calm down on their emotions and everything. And then in the meantime, you design your entire thing. And when we say design your content, does not mean that you're really using paper and pen or something. You can actually design entire thing in your mind and then start processing. So very similar thing which you did in the role play. Right? All these things you've already done that. We are just talking about it now. Right? So after designing, then it comes to the communication part, that then you're confident about your content, that everything is ready in my mind. Now I can speak about these 5 points in today's session. Right? Then आता है आपका second point is EQ. So what is EQ?
Emotional quotient.
Yeah. So what is emotional quotient?
Managing different kinds of emotions we have. Uh,
What else?
ability to listen with all emotions but not showing, and managing our own feelings in front of the client.
Okay.
Continuing the process of communication through our questions, so we can make, we can proceed this communication very effectively, that we are taking interest and we are going to take some solutions. So making questions on that.
No, that's not emotional quotient. Emotional quotient is all about your emotional intelligence. Right? That how balanced you are with your emotions. Right? Whether you are really a person who is introvert, who is extrovert, who is ambivert, or who is the person who can actually talk on any point, who can actually not showcase all the kind of emotions that you are feeling at this point in time. Right? For example, in our home we have a different kind of EQ that we showcase. And when we go out, when we are in professional or social circle, there is a very different kind of set of emotional question that we generally showcase to the people, right? Even at home, some point in time, you will feel that you are short-tempered. Right? Maybe छोटी छोटी बातों पे बच्चों को कभी डांट रहे हैं, you are actually telling them not to do this. People are irritating you so many times. Kids keep doing different kind of things, pets doing different kind of things. So you get irritated with these things if they are. But when you're in a professional or social circle, you generally don't show your emotions like that. Irritation nahi dikhate hain itni jaldi. We don't show our temperament so soon. Right? So this is how we balance the things. So as a coach also, there are so many things that we need to keep balance of. Like I said that, crying is one emotion which will come automatically. One being a woman, we feel emotions literally into, we really get involved into the entire process. We are empaths. You can call that natural empath. So you are really naturally emotionally quotient. Your is not really that stable, that we get into that mode. If somebody is crying, we start really doing that. Some of the women are like that. I'm not saying males are not like that, but some women are really that emotional. That is the reason why we need to keep practicing balancing the emotions so that our emotional intelligence is always at a play. We are balancing all emotions, not just about crying. It can be about laughing also. It can be about sarcasm also. It can be about showing or feeling downgraded towards somebody. Right? So this is the kind of feelings that we have to keep hold of. And how we can actually work upon our emotional quotient is with one word which is very important in emotional intelligence, that comes is empathy. Right? What is the difference between sympathy and empathy?
Sympathy means you are showing some kind of attachment like sorrow or sadness. Empathy is like putting us on the place of the person we are talking to.
Very good. Very nice. Yeah, very nicely explained. Right? So, sympathy is that you are actually feeling sorry about something for others. Right? That is the kind of feeling that you're having. Empathy is that you really start feeling those emotions that person is going through. Right? For example, suppose you are going to somebody's cremation. Right? What kind of emotions we show generally is sympathy, that somebody has died in their family and that's why we are there to support. But if your own has died in last 15 days or 20 days or a month or two, you actually start feeling the similar kind of empathy. Right? You start getting into the similar kind of emotion circle and then you start doing that. So that's what the difference between empathy and sympathy is. Right? So like Raki very correctly says that putting yourself in the shoes of somebody is empathy basically. So that's when you have to do that. If somebody is coming to share with you, don't show your judgment, don't show your stereotypes, don't show the stigma that people have actually attached with our thing, that LGBTQ people are really bad or disabled men really cannot, disabled people cannot get the work done. So many things, there are subconscious mind में हमारे बहुत सारी चीजें होती है, prejudices हमारे डाल दिए जाते हैं. So emotional quotient or empathy says that put yourself in their shoes and then think about the solutions. So, how your good communication can actually come across, how effectively you can communicate is with the feeling that you are actually feeling that this person is sharing all these details with me. If I am in his or her place, what am I going to do? Right? How I'm going to handle those situations. And then you will start getting into a very corrective mode of communication with that person. Right? Third आता है आपका ability to connect. Now, what is ability to connect? Why is Vijaya so quiet today? Not talking. And why cameras are off? I'm just noticing it. Jyoti ma'am, Vijaya, Muskan, everybody is without their cameras.
Ma'am, mine is on, ma'am.
Achha, I could not see it for some time.
Mine is on actually.
Yeah, now I can see you. Then Mandari ma'am and Vijaya. Not showing their faces. We should charge 100 rupees for not opening your cameras. An additional fees for people who are not opening their cameras. Then everybody will do that. So see, ability to connect is basically that. We are not able to connect to the people because we are not able to see them. Right? So effective communication is not building. I'm not really sure whether the content that I have designed or I am speaking is actually going into their mind or not. Right? So that's what ability to connect is. Any other examples that you want to share for ability to connect for effective communication?
I think your facial expressions and your eyes uh, maybe you, means help to connect to the people you are talking with. Your smile and your sorrows are always there on your face, that you are communicating the people, or he's talking about his sore experiences or bad experiences, or maybe it is quite comfortable or not with the people. It helps you
Very
to
true.
communicate for a better communication.
Yeah, very true.
Ma'am, language.
Language. What else about other than language?
even I think your words you are going to means you are going to we are going to put into the conversation your polite words or sometimes your motivating words. Keep it quite comfortable.
Yeah. What is ability to connect in general? Language हो गया.
Ability to connect
I
is basically we have got all the content, but to connect, to being able to connect, we should be a good listener, because at that time it should be a two-way communication. We should develop a two-way communication to connect with the person with whom we are communicating.
correct.
And
Very
of course I think your knowledge about the means your knowledge you are gaining through you can communicate very easily or comfortably.
Hmm. Anything more? Anybody wants to share? So content we had already spoken about, right? What is the knowledge and skill that we have and that we want to connect to people with. EQ is basically our emotional factor that we have to keep alive when we are talking to people, or we have to keep it balanced, right? Now, ability to connect is basically, like Divya said, that listening is very important for ability to connect, right? You will be able to respond back to the people, or you will be able to give something back to them as a solution or for whatever thing that they have come to you. So keeping that effective communication thing alive, it is very important that you connect with the person whosoever has come to you, right? So how you connect is that you have listened to them and now you have taken notes about that, and you know certain things about this person, right? So you have some information which is readily available with you, which can actually make you feel connected with that person. That's one. Second is that you find out through their other two things, with content and emotional quotient, that what is it that this person has been feeling deep down, right? Share certain examples that this is the similar thing which has happened in your life, or maybe somebody else that you have helped, and then you have helped that person in the similar situation, or some people you have suggested yoga asanas to would be able to, suppose, let's see, for example, somebody has come to you that I want to lose weight. I have a problem that obesity is not going away from my life. So, what is the solution for obesity? What are the things that you can suggest to the person for obesity?
Power yoga, one thing.
Which yoga?
Power yoga. Power yoga.
Power yoga.
Yes, ma'am.
सूर्य नमस्कार मैम.
Surya
पावर
Namaskar.
योगा तक पहुंचने के लिए बेसिक योगा आना बहुत जरूरी है,
Yes,
वरना
ma'am.
तो सब गड़बड़ हो जाएगा, है ना? पावर योगा जो लोग अचानक शुरू कर देते हैं, they might face problem in with physical,
Yes.
especially obese people.
सूर्य नमस्कार मैम.
Yeah, तो initiate with सूर्य नमस्कार, we can do that. But again, सूर्य नमस्कार obesity के लिए problem हो सकता है, because not all asanas they can do. So you can suggest few asanas out of Surya Namaskar, and then you can suggest them.
Start with Sukshma Vayams and we can move on to the steps step by step.
Correct. So you see, this is how you are going to chart out your entire design of what you want to speak to the person, right? Sorry, just give me a moment. I have a call which is coming. Yeah, sorry. So see, ability to connect will come that all your yoga asanas, information and knowledge about that. So you should be aware about that what works for obesity. Right. Second is your emotional quotient is that you are aware about this thing and you're not making fun of that person because of their obesity. So that's your emotional thing that you have to control of, right? Ability to connect is basically now you are giving them life example, either of yourself if you have done something on weight loss, or maybe of your past clients who you have helped in terms of helping them lose weight. Right? So that is the ability to connect, that you are giving, sharing anecdotes, you are sharing some real life examples, case studies, and that's when you are actually putting across more confidence of that person in you while sharing all those stories. So success stories share karna, all those anecdotes share karna is basically one of a very, very important thing for ability to connect. Third thing, very important, is research when your ability to connect. Research, why? Research about the person, whosoever is coming to you. It's very important that whenever a client comes to you, take an appointment, because nobody will come to you directly. Right? They will either do a phone call, they will write you an email, they will talk to you beforehand, and then they will come and meet you personally and share about their problems. So it's very important that you do certain research about them. Research about them, how will you do? There is a Google platform, there is social media. You can always search about that person and find out what exactly the lifestyle of that person. You won't go into the details, you won't get to know about many things about this person, but at least your ability in terms of whether this person is young or old, right? What kind of family that person has, what kind of lifestyle do they have, are they really poor or they middle class or they rich, so these kind of informations you can easily find out about that person. It is going to help you in designing very good effective communication when you're talking to that person. Because sometimes what happens is when people come to you and they are not really from a very stable financial background, right, and they look forward to solutions, and you start giving them different success stories about rich people or people who have money, and they did a lot of exercises, they went to nutrition also, dietitians also, and all those things, then it won't connect with that person rightly. Right? So for designing that effective communication or communicating the right things to the person, or जिसे कहते हैं ना दिल से दिल तक पहुंचना, that basically is ability to connect with that person, and that will never come without the research. Right? Especially, my major focus for all of you for giving these content to all of you is basically to make you more ready for corporate kind of life coaching sessions. Yoga life coaching sessions, because corporates are going to be in need in the next 5 years. It's really going to become a very high need for everybody, especially for mental health, physical health as well, right? Because remote work has started taking place. People have been working from their own workstations, their own places, their own families, but it gets very difficult for people to work from home. Some people are not able to actually put a stop button to कि कहाँ family शुरू हो रही है और कहाँ खत्म हो रही है, especially for women. It gets very difficult because if woman is at home, even if that person is a working woman, people still believe कि घर का खाना वही बना के देगी, घरम भी वही करके देगी, पड़ोसी की भी वही, so different kind of things are attached. So all these things are going to get more involved. You are going to get more involved into giving that kind of coaching sessions. So it's very important when group sessions you are getting involved into group sessions, or group sessions are coming to you, then research about the audience, ask questions. Generally we use a questionnaire, that what kind of people are there, what is the age group, what are the degrees or diplomas that they have, what are the backgrounds, so a little bit information and knowledge about these things. Right? Say hello to this. Hello.
Hello.
Belated happy birthday also.
Hello,
I'm
Anira.
saying hello. Come.
What's his name?
Anirab.
Anira.
Sorry?
Anirab.
Anirab. Okay.
Say,
Hi, Anirab.
by saying hello. Hi.
Hi, without showing your face. Hello.
Hi. Happy birthday, belated happy birthday.
Yes, belated happy birthday to you.
Yes.
आप मेरे से पता है सिर्फ 2 ही दिन बड़े हो. नहीं, मैं आपसे 2 ही दिन बड़ी हूँ. Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm 30 on second.
Just 2 days.
Second.
I am 2nd February born. You're 4th February born, right?
Yes.
See, I know it. आपने मुझे treat तो दिया नहीं.
What? Party.
Did you give me treat? Party.
Yes.
Yes. When did you give me party? You did not even invite us.
My mother. My mother gave.
Ma'am, we'll
My
have
mother
yours and Anirudh's birthday on the same party on the same day, ma'am.
Yeah. Let's meet sometimes.
Yes, ma'am. Sure. Sure, ma'am.
Right. So, see, this is the ability to connect, which is very important and which is going to play a very crucial role when you are looking into the group sessions, right? So, for individual, you can do still easily research and find out about their needs and requirements. For group, it gets a little difficult, and then you can actually create various numbers of examples. After you have an information about what kind of audience I'm going to do, what kind of things are there, because then they will all not have a similar problems. Yeah, they have their different problems. So one-to-one session will also come with these people. But in general, in generic things that you have to start showcasing to them is maybe pranayam, hath yoga, में से कुछ बता दिए ना. So for general physical ability and emotional ability, you can always tell them. So that's what ability to connect talks about. Then आता है आपका be attentive to non-verbal cues. Right? So non-verbal cues can be really important for EQ also, for ability to connect also. And then it's a separate thing also because some people do not speak. They do not have that ability to, especially when people are very introvert. They do not, no matter how much you coerce them, no matter how much you nudge them, there are people who will never be able to speak about what exactly is going on in their mind. Right? So then you have to find out about their non-verbal cues. You have to do a lot of guesswork. You have to ask those kind of questions once you start understanding their body language, or after you have asked questions, what kind of reactions they are giving. From their reactions only, then you can find out whether this is a problem, right? So we were dealing with one particular case of domestic violence, and this woman was not able to speak about, and I said that it would be very difficult for me to help you out in any circumstances. If you want, at least share with me. But maybe because of fear, because of society pressure, because of the pressure of family, she was just not speaking. So it took almost 2.5 months to just find out what exactly is the trouble that she is facing, right? So it gets into, you have to get into the detail about for things with their non-verbal cues a lot of time, right? They won't come to you properly dressed up. Something or other would be amiss in their body, especially if they are depressed or they have some mental health problem. Even if they are sounding very, very happy, there would be signs that they would sound suddenly very, very happy in front of you. So you will be able to guess that something is not really fine. So these are the cues that you'll have to find out. And all these things will come with a lot of practice. And you will say कि अभी तो हमारे पास client ही नहीं है, तो how will we practice? So practice can also happen while you watch a lot of videos which are available. So try and watch a lot of YouTube videos where people are taking coaching sessions. Some coaches have actually put across those things. Or read about these things, that how people have actually handled, what kind of cues they look forward to, what are the things they actually do. So your entire research work should be very, very handy when it comes to dealing with all these things. Right? Then आता है workplace communication. Generally, we use it for office-based communication, all those things. But these are certain behaviors which we talk about, that when you have to have proper communication with somebody, or you are talking about making your communication very effective. So these are the things that you should not be doing, especially when you are dealing with people. Right? So there are certain do's. So the green ones you can see are the do's, and the red ones are don'ts. So what are the do's that you should be doing? The firm shake hand. Right? If you're not doing shake hands these days, so your greetings to somebody should be very welcoming. So that people should feel that, I am at comfort, I am welcome, these people are really looking forward to having me, all those things. Then eye contact. Very important. Because shake hands are not happening. So maybe a namaste, any other greeting, hello, hi, whatever you want to do, and then eye contact is very important. Eye contact instantly give reliability about you, right? It showcases to the people that this person is reliable, that this person can be confident, and I can actually share across things with this person. Then well dressed. Well dressed doesn't mean that you have to showcase all your dresses to your clients. You can actually showcase yourself as a very, very maturity is very something to do with well dressed, right? We need to ensure that to some client later on, it is not going to create an impression that what kind of clothes you're wearing. Even if you go and take your sessions in pajamas, people would still be happy about that. But initial part of it, when you are dealing and giving the confidence, it should look like that you are really interested in that person. So you have just not come up from your bed and then you are dealing with this person. Right? So you should look like well mature, you should look like well groomed. Your professionalism should come across from the way you are dressed. Right? It can be sari, it can be suit, it can be jeans, it can be anything that you're comfortable with. Right? First, our body should look comfortable, and then you can make the other person feel comfortable about that. Then आता है आपका straight posture, which we have already spoken about. So your posture has to be always good. Should look like that, you are a positive person, right? Your emotional quotient is perfectly fine, and that you actually treat your body as your temple, right? So not, I mean, इसके अंदर एक चीज लिखा हुआ है कि एनर्जी आपका पास आउट होना चाहिए. सो पोस्चर का मीनिंग ही यही है कि दैट राइट काइंड ऑफ वाइब्स शुड कम फ्रॉम आवर बॉडी टू देयर बॉडी. देन आता है आपका लीडिंग फॉरवर्ड. अब बहुत सारे टीचर्स और बहुत सारे लोगों की प्रॉब्लम होती है जब कोचिंग सेशन लेते हैं तो वो आगे झुक जाते हैं जस्ट टू शो द इंटरेस्ट, राइट? एंड दैट्स अ वेरी वेरी कॉमन थिंग. So just try and avoid that, because overindulgence does not create good interest. People generally do not feel comfortable with that kind of a thing. So it's not really that. Leaning forward should happen a little bit, bilkul zara sa, so that you are able to give the attention to the person and the person feels that you are really available, you are showing interest and you are attentive to what the person is saying. Right? Then don'ts mein kya hai aapka? Don't ever sit crossed arms. This is a clear no. When you are dealing with somebody, when you are talking, especially one-to-one communication, both of your hands should never be folded like this or in any other manner. Then cluttered space. So cluttered space can be your desk, wherever you are sitting. It can be a sofa, it can be a room, whatever thing is. That room, आप कभी भी देखोगे, even in movies when they generally show a psychologist or a therapist room, it looks very neat and clean. Right? It never looks decluttered. And the reason why it should never look decluttered is because it showcases that you are not really in the right frame of mind. People generally get disturbed with a lot of things which is present in the room. Right? So that is the reason why cluttered space, agar aapka table hai, so table should have just 2 or 3 important things. That's it. If there are more things like files and stationery and other things, it should be really, really in a different manner. It should be stacked in a manner that it should look very, very cluttered. Sorry, decluttered. Then I got the fidgeting. Fidgeting is always very, very common thing. Communication में fidgeting होता ही रहता है. Some people are nervous, some people have some problems, so they start doing this. Playing with their hair is very common. Playing with their nails is also very common. हाथ में कोई चीज है तो चाबी से खेलेंगे, or they have mobile phones, they start looking at their watch. So different kind of fidgeting keeps happening. So when you are having a good communication, for effective communication to happen, keep aside your nervousness, always be there, be attentive, talk to the person with eye to eye contact, and the moment your eye to eye contact starts, your fidgeting should stop. Right? No hands movement anywhere on your body. You're not playing with your dupattas, you're not playing with your kurtas, you're not really doing anything with your fingers. It's just a right kind of communication. Hands rested, maybe a side of your body or side of your chair, whatever you're using, and then the communication will start to flow. Then yelling. Now some people feel that it goes with showing that we are in authoritative place and we can actually showcase that we are more powerful, that we know more about it, and then they start yelling on people. But yelling or any kind of high raised voice is a strict no, especially in coaching. It's absolutely no. It should never be allowed in any professional atmosphere. But still, if some people are in habit, it takes time for them to take care of their bad temperament. But for coaches, it has to come automatically. It should become a part of our personality that we are never yelling. Even if you feel really angry, try and manage your anger somewhere, but not to yell. No abuses and no yelling at all, ever. Then pointing finger. A pointing finger is not really in just metaphor use करके. It's in literal also. Some people have this habit of putting this finger like that when they are talking. So never do that. Such kind of hand movement, such kind of things shows that you are not really a good leader. You're not in control of yourself. So when somebody showcase that or gives this kind of signals that they are not in control of them, how are they going to be reliable for the other person? Right? So these are very simple ones. You can always read about this thing a little more. Now there is a comparison which generally happens between verbal and non-verbal communication. What are the things that keeps happening? So just to give you more information about this thing in theory. So the meaning basically is verbal is use of words to transmit the message to the receiver. Non-verbal communication is where the senders and receivers use sign language or they just use non-verbal communication. Types: verbal communication can be formal and informal. Non-verbal, like we talked about it, chronemics, vocalics, haptics, kinesics, programming, artifacts, anything can be used for non-verbal. Verbal communication is time consuming, not really. Non-verbal is time consuming always because it takes time to interpret the signals that people are telling. It takes time to do a little bit research. It takes time to find out the meaning of exactly what people are trying to convey to us. Then chances of transmission of wrong message rarely happens in verbal because generally you are able to communicate whatever you want to communicate quickly. Chances that your message is wrong sometimes can happen with non-verbal cues. Documentary evidence, yes, in case of written communication, no in terms of non-verbal. Advantages: the message can be clearly understood in verbal. Sometimes people take time in non-verbal. So it is really helpful if you have a proper understanding of emotions, lifestyle, status, what is the kind of feeling the person has, and then you will be able to elaborate or quickly be able to find out about a little bit about them. Then their presence. The message can be transmitted through letters, phone calls, etc. So the personal presence of the parties does make change. The personal presence of the parties, both the parties who are involved in non-verbal communication, is not really right. So sometimes your presence in verbal communication do not really play too much of a role, but you cannot really find out about non-verbal cues, non-verbal communication if both the parties are not present. And that is the reason why what happens is when you are communicating with somebody on WhatsApp, right? So WhatsApp chat में confusions बहुत हो जाते हैं. People start feeling if you have written something and it's very straightforward, people feel bad about it कि why you have written something like that, right? This same thing happens in professional in organizations. Emails पे बहुत होता है ये वाली चीजें. People start feeling bad about this entire thing purely because sometimes what needs to be passed on in person generally is passed on in phone calls or through WhatsApp chats or other chats, creates confusion, right? So that's all about it. Anything that you want to share for effective communication? Do share, or otherwise I'll give you an assignment to work on. बहुत दिन हो गए assignment ही नहीं किया हमने.
Ma'am, one more thing, ma'am. In communication, some people, while talking, they will say some extra words like that. That also not good, na, ma'am. Well,
Like, give me example.
What I have. We should not. Yeah, use. They will use. Yeah, use. They can use some, ma'am. Yeah, like that.
Okay, so you're saying that in communication we should not use a lot of pauses, and we use not, especially in written communication, we don't use the short words, right? So that's very important. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So there is always. I personally believe, maybe I'm old school about this thing, but I always believe that a good communication is when you're taking care of the language properly. So no matter which language you're using, English, Hindi, or your mother languages like Tamil, Telugu, Punjabi, Hindi, whatever it is, it's very important that there should be a proper use of grammar that has been taught to us, the full use of words that we should be using. Now with so many slang language which has come, maybe because of these millennials who have started talking in English, they have actually created a different kind of meanings of English,
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
which
ma'am.
should never be used for effective communication. So this BRB, be right back, and GTH, go to hell, all these things. It's good to understand all that things because you might have certain clients who would be coming from that age group also. But always try and encourage that they should talk in a proper manner.
Yes.
Right? See, this use of slang language is also we have started using is because we feel or we want to show to people that we don't have time.
Yes,
Up
ma'am.
24 hours, maybe if you do not have time to speak properly, that means it's a challenge, that there is something going on in their mind. I always tell my son that, if you get into this habit of finding these words and all those things, though I also use sometimes with him, but just because, he's growing up, he's almost in the teenage. So it's very important for you to know all these things, but while proper communication in terms of professional communication or writing your essays in school or writing different kind of things, your proper English has to be used in that manner. Same thing with your client.
Yes, ma'am.
It should always be a language, the way it has been designed, try and use that way.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, communication का भी same rule है, lot of practice. Like yoga, like meditation. If you want to become a master of good communication, you really want to practice that thing, watch a lot of videos, try and write down different kind of things, try and use different kind of coaching styles and how you can actually, so this exercise that I gave you to give a presentation on that, find out one disease, find out which coaching style of yours will work on that, which coaching model you are going to use, and then what kind of solutions you are going to give to that person. So it's an exercise that you can do for yourself. It's a kind of self introspection which will tell you that how much research you still need to do, how much is your work which you don't know, what are the areas of knowledge or skill that is missing in you, what you should improve upon. So personally I use these things even now. If something different kind of things comes to us, so we try and do all these exercises on our own. So other than SWOT analysis, this is a really good exercise that you can keep doing. See, because so far we have spoken about communication styles and things. Now we are going to talk about, from tomorrow onwards, the class is basically about change theory. So change theory in coaching is very important, right? Because ultimately, if anybody is coming to you for learning yoga or for learning meditation or for learning anything that you're good at, they will come to you because they want to see some change in them. They want to see that transformation happening, right? So these change theories are designed particularly for coaching so that you can utilize these coaching theories and find out how you are actually going to manage the change. So change also has a different kind of, what do you call it, different colors, or different stages, different phases. How you have to use which kind of communication style for which phase is very important, right? So जितना भी past में पढ़ा है, that is going to be rewind again from tomorrow with change theory, right? So tomorrow's morning class is very, very important. Do attend, and then we'll do some exercises,
2:30
meditation
to 5:30, ma'am,
exercises.
tomorrow.
No, tomorrow morning is 7:30 to 9:30. That's what we decided. Morning,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
correct?
Morning
Yes, ma'am.
7:30 to 9:30.
7:30.
Yeah, morning 7:30. I'll announce it. I have already communicated it to Neeraj. He is okay
Yes,
with that.
don't do 7 to 8. I have a class, ma'am. I'll just complete it by 7.
Yeah. Join as soon as you get free, so that you don't miss. Because tomorrow class and then next Saturday's class is going to be very important. Wednesday class, I think. Right. So now your timetable is Saturday 4:30 to 5:30, Sunday morning 7:30 to 9:30, and Wednesday evening 7:30 to 8:30, 1 hour. Right. For Wednesday 7:30 to 8:30, we will try and do a lot of exercises and meditation. Saturdays and Sundays we will try and complete the theory work. Okay. And you have to tell me and give me a time when you want to show me your presentations. when all of you are present, and then we can do the presentation. This Wednesday?
You tell us, so we'll be prepared accordingly. Like I have prepared it last to last, I think, when you have given. But now I have forgotten what I have prepared. So I'll have to revise it.
So prepare it for Wednesday. So Wednesday 1 hour, let's keep it for exercises and all that, right? That would be, I think, much better. Because most of you would be coming from office, may not have time to learn and, be very interceptive about the theory that we are going to talk. So let's keep it very practical and
Okay, ma'am.
practical basis. So let's do presentation. Whatever you have prepared so far for that presentation, just revise it and present it on Saturday, on Wednesday. 7:30 sharp, right? 5 minutes each will give presentation, not more than that. 5 to 6 minutes is maximum.
Okay.
All right. So that's all about your communication. Prepare communication well, and you can utilize this particular. I will just send it across to you in your group. These particular things also, and then the case study also, which we talked about. I had not shared it. I remember now. I'll share it right now. So that's all for the class today. Anything else you want to know or talk about?
The presentation is about regarding that coaching for any disease like that only, ma'am. That's it.
Sorry, rephrase your question again. I could not get it.
Regarding what presentation, ma'am? Earlier we already you already told us to for the disease related.
Yeah, same presentation you have to give now. You have submitted the written presentation, but you have to present it. So presentation ka meaning hai that you have to present it too. Right?
Right.
So I want to see now complete thing that how are you if somebody has come to you for diseases, that 3 diseases that you have spoken about. What are the coaching styles you are using? Autocratic, democratic, whatever things that we've spoken about. Then what is the model that you are using? Whether grow model, other model or other model. And then what is the way you are going to communicate? Right? So from effective communication, we have practiced role play also. So now you showcase the entire package because I want to see, are you really getting prepared to become a coach or not? That's when we can give you certification. Na? So if the certification will have my post, what do you call it, thappa, so that I have to be very convinced about whether you are really ready for the coach or not. Right? So that's part of the assignment. And then the similar thing we are going to do for the final examination. So my final examination is going to be a little bit theory, but more of practical. Right? So I'll become your customer, client, whatever, and then I'll pose certain problems to you. You have to give me the solution. So this is how we are going to do at the final stages. Right? So 2 topics are left: changes, change theory, and then last is about behavioral changes, which is connected with your cognitive behavior, which is a little bit of psychology we will use. And after these 2 topics, then I think the classes are over. So first week of March, I think the classes will get over.
Ma'am, the date of exam, ma'am, because I have to whether any exam is there at that time. It dashes.
I am not able to hear your voice properly.
Ma'am, could you please tell the tentative date of our final exam?
I'll tell you. I'll go through the calendar, how many classes are left, and then I'll tell you the final date.
Okay. Maybe end of March last week, ma'am.
No, I think it's first week of March. We started in first week of January now. So 2 months were given to me. So 2 months means somewhere around 8th, 9th March would be your last class.
Okay, ma'am.
Whatever Sunday falling. Right, I'll announce it in the group.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. So first concentrate on this presentation. I really want all of you to give me very good presentation. Right, a lot of content has been shared with you. So now it's your time to comprehend that content and show that you are ready to become a coach. right? And that is the reason why I've given you your choices of diseases. I did not give my choices, so that whatever you're comfortable with, you can give solutions per se. All right, chalo, best wishes. Kal subah milte hain 7:30. Bye. Have a good Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good time. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.